In this video, we're taking a deep dive into seatbelt cleaning, really no matter how dirty or how clean the seatbelt already is. What's going on, guys? Luke here with Wilson Auto Detailing. I'm a pro detailer based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Let me take you guys into the interior here and show you the seatbelts I'm working with. Now, to make things really easy, I want to share with you the tools and products I'm using for the video. Number one, I'm using this seatbelt brush cleaner. This is called like an alligator brush or a gator brush, and basically it doesn't really open very wide, but the teeth or the bristles open just slightly, so you can slip a seatbelt underneath right there, so I can close it down and scrub the seatbelt like this. So this is a dedicated seatbelt brush. Secondly, I've got my microfiber towel, I've got my gloves. The fourth thing that's pretty important here is I've got kind of this workbench clip. The reason why I use this, you could use something like a cow clip, but essentially if I'm gonna be cleaning the entire seatbelt, I wanna bring the entire seatbelt out, and then when I've reached its full limit, I can clip right here so that the seatbelt doesn't retract back into the vehicle, and I've got all of the slack of the seatbelt sitting outside the car for me to work on. That's why the clip is necessary. And then I've got my steamer back here and some simple interior all-purpose cleaner. You could use Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, P&S Interior Express cleaner, or anything like that. I've also got kind of my scan grip light here because sometimes I like to work with a little bit of light inside when I'm doing something more detailed like this. Now, first thing is first with seatbelt cleaning. The type of material that a seatbelt is made out of is kind of similar, let's call it, to headliner. The reason why I always use gloves whenever I'm cleaning interior surfaces like headliner is because even the oils from your hands can get really easily transferred onto the surface you're cleaning when you're cleaning headliner. The same is true of a seatbelt. What you're gonna notice is that the area back here, this is the cleanest part. The reason why this is the cleanest part is because this part of the seatbelt never gets touched, right? 99.9% of the seatbelt that actually gets touched is up here, closer to where you actually grab it, pull it across your body. This is the area that ends up kind of being discolored because this is the area where those body oils from your hands and all that sort of stuff start to get transferred onto the material. So check out the difference here. So I'm doing my best here to show the difference here. The bottom part of this seatbelt is the area that gets touched a lot. The top area is the part that does not get touched a lot. It's very subtle in the camera, very difficult to see, but this bottom part is a little bit off gray. It's more like brownish. It's got kind of a tiny brownish hue. The top part is totally gray. And so this is the area that we're kind of comparing everything to. This is the area that's still kind of dirty. So our question is, can we take this area that gets touched all the time and basically turn it back into this color, which is like the original color? So let's talk about how we're gonna do that. Well, there are a few different ways to accomplish seatbelt cleaning. So I wanna start with really the easiest way to clean this. All I would have to do is take my seatbelt like this. I take my interior cleaner. I literally spray just like this until I reached the unexposed part. I'm not trying to clean the seatbelt up here. That part is not dirty. So there's no point in me wasting my time with that. I'm gonna flip the seatbelt over so that I can get the other side. I'm gonna take my alligator brush here. I'm gonna enclose the seatbelt in between just like this. And what I'm gonna do is pull my seatbelt through rather than scrubbing back and forth. It's hard to get torque on both sides. So I'm gonna do just like this, okay? Pull the seatbelt through one way. I'm gonna go back from the bottom now. I'm gonna pull it through the other way, just like this. I'm just running the seatbelt through the teeth of the brush itself. What I can do to get torque on both sides is to pull my seatbelt out just like this. I can make sure I've got tension on that side because it's hooked into the interior of the car, and I can start to go back and forth if there's a specific area that I need to go back and forth on, just like this. I can, of course, shorten it. There's a stain right here that I might want to address a little bit more specifically. I'll spray directly onto it, and I can scrub back and forth just like this. Now, obviously, at this point, I can take my wet seatbelt and I can take my microfiber towel and I can very simply just start to scrub it and try to dry it as much as I can. The problem with that is that seatbelt material, like I said, is kind of finicky and it can be kind of difficult to clean right. Oftentimes, it helps to kind of rinse or push out the material downward towards the base of the seatbelt to kind of rinse the product. That's why I've got my steamer out. So what I like to do in terms of using my steamer and rinsing a seatbelt is I start at the base of the seatbelt. So I go to the bottom of the seat here. I take my microfiber towel and I fold it either in half or I fold it in fourths so it's a little bit easier to manage. So I'm gonna hold it in my palm just like this. When I start from the base of the seatbelt here, I literally just wanna cup the seatbelt underneath my microfiber just like this. So I'll pull the seatbelt out so you guys can see how I'm doing this. But essentially, I'm holding my microfiber underneath just like this, and I'm keeping tension by starting at the base of the seatbelt. So it's hooked in here so I can pull against it and keep things straight. So as I do this, I'm not scrubbing and I'm not really agitating anything. I'm just using my steamer to push the product either through the seatbelt, to the side, down, out, all that sort of stuff. And I'm using tension kept here so that I can pull it out and I don't have to kind of use both hands. So it looks something like this. And I'm pulling out the seatbelt as I'm doing this, very, very slowly. So more and more of the seatbelt is coming out. Well, when I reach about right here, what I've got is the exposed area of the seatbelt steamed, because right about here is where we go back to that original color leather. I know that that basically doesn't ever come out, so this doesn't need to be cleaned. So it's this area that I'm cleaning. I can do the same exact thing by flipping to the other side, making sure the seatbelt gets clean on both sides, just like this. Now, after this, it's important to understand that my microfiber towel is really wet, and this particular material is finicky. I always like to start with a dry microfiber towel when I'm wiping down the seatbelt for the final time. When I do this, I can keep tension from either side, and I'm gonna go back and forth just like this. After this, the seatbelt is not going to be completely dry. I want to leave the clip on the seatbelt over here so that it can actually start to dry. Fastest way to do this is obviously if it's sunny outside, or if you wanna put in an industrial fan in the interior of the car, it's gonna dry in like 20 to 30 minutes, enough to be retracted back in, and I'm not gonna have any issues. Now, there is no doubt some of you who are dealing with seatbelts that are extremely dirty, and when you try the strategy that we just talked about, you don't really get the total full effect of the cleaning. You're like, there's still some staining. One of the things that's important to say before we talk about this extreme way of cleaning is there might be some tan seatbelts from like 2001 that you're detailing that are just not going to get cleaned totally, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I wanna show you guys what I'm doing here. In this bucket, I've got hot water. What I've done is pull the seatbelt out, and I've also taken, by the way, the buckle, and when I clip the seatbelt at the mouth of the retraction point, I take that buckle, I put it all the way up at the top, and then I put the clip underneath it. So all I'm dealing with is the seatbelt. I have no buckle that's like in my way. I've been letting this seatbelt soak in this hot water for some time now. Now, depending on where the staining is in the seatbelt, you actually might have to maneuver the bucket in different positions, but after it's soaked in boiling water or hot water for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we can take the same exact approach we just did, and we're going to get even better results because we've let that stain sit here, and again, it's going to start cleaning itself, right? Now, you'll see that once again, right about right here is where we get the original color, so basically this area doesn't need to be cleaned, but we need to start cleaning about here down, and so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave it in the bucket, so I'm soaking this in cleaner. I'm gonna take my alligator brush here, just like I normally would, put some tension on it, and again, I wanna keep it in the bucket here because this hot water is helping me, so I just do like this. I keep pulling back and forth through. With this particular part of the seatbelt, the discoloration is kind of in the middle section, so even down here at the base, I really don't need to clean. It's just this area, and I'm just trying to be specific with some stains here. My water's getting super, super dirty. After I've done this kind of at a sufficient level here, I'm gonna take my steamer, and before I even take my microfiber and cup it or anything like that, everything here is so wet, I'm gonna keep it here, and I'm just gonna start steaming from the bucket here. Now, once I've done that, I'm gonna take my seatbelt, I'm gonna start drying it as much as I possibly can with my microfiber, and I wanna start cleaning it just like this to make sure that it is as dry as it can be. I'm gonna take it, stick it inside, separate it, leave it on the passenger seat to dry totally. Now, of course, it's important to understand that really any of these strategies that we implemented together could be used like in isolation. For example, you might not need to use a steamer if it's getting fixed with just a brush. You might not have to use the alligator brush. You might just use a regular, let's say, carpet brush and put some tension from the back of your hand to have something to scrub against. But these tools make seatbelt cleaning really, really easy and really, really quick. Otherwise, these things can take a lot of time if you don't have these kind of strategies going into it, because seatbelts, like I said, are made up of really annoying types of material. So guys, all of the seatbelt cleaning tools here will be listed in the YouTube description box below. And because I know that when you watch videos like this, trying to find and sort through all the detailing tools you need can be really complicated, I created a top 12 tools and products list that I suggest for anybody in the detailing community. So go below and you can check out that essential detailing toolbox, top 12 product list if you're interested to kind of sift through the confusing nature of everything that's out there. And as always, guys, if you like this video and found some value here, make sure to hit the thumbs up button so that I know. Keep working hard. And from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, I will see you guys in the next video.